Oh, hello, Internet. Didn't see you there. Welcome to the Reactor Core. I am the world-renowned historian, and let's go ahead and watch some news. As I am speaking to you, it is 12:15 a.m., December 23rd. I have a lot to do today, meaning the 23rd. I am driving a very, very long time on the 24th. So what? No better time to come and come and watch the news and talk to you, Internet. Glad you could make it. Glad you're here. Um, my friend Ed said some kind words about the first episode of me watching the news, and you know what? I'm just that stupid and narcissistic that was enough that I wanted to come on and make another episode. So thanks for that, Ed. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and watch 17 September 1980, WKYC, Channel 3. This is local Cleveland news from, again, the 17th of September, 1980. Let's go ahead and jump right in. I did try to, as I mentioned in the first episode, balance the frame a little bit better, as in I'm over in a particular quadrant. The thing I'm reacting to is over in a different quadrant of the frame. But a little bit of, behind the scenes movie magic, friends. I've set it up so that my laptop screen is right here. So that's what I'm looking at, obviously. Whereas in the frame, because of where I am in relation to the camera, the thing I'm reacting to is right there. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm just looking off the frame while the thing that I'm supposed to be talking about is right there. Looks a little silly. Whatever. It's a work in progress. We'll figure it out. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump right in, because I would like to be in bed by about, a somewhat reasonable hour tonight. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, WKYC, local Cleveland news, 17 September 1980. This is 22 minutes and 24 seconds. I hope that doesn't mean they cut the commercials, but we'll see what happens.
The class assignments are out for the Cleveland Public School students tonight, and there are hundreds of parents who feel that they have been betrayed.
Near West Siders tonight demanding more police.
Okay, already. I love it already. This is every era of life ever is parents flipping out about their children's education. You hear this story, you heard it in the 80s, you heard it in the 90s, you heard it in the 2000s, you heard it in the 2010s. There's always a group of parents freaking out about, oh, the kids aren't being taught exactly how I was. Same as it ever was. The old boss is the same as the new boss. So it goes.
Akron firefighters sue the city, and Cleveland seniors fight to stay in their own homes.
I'm Ed Miller in Japan. On my exclusive extra tonight, we'll take a look at some of the secrets behind Japan's booming auto industry and why that's important to you. That story and more as Action 3 News joins you next.
Some of the secrets, the top secret innovations but behind Japan's booming auto industry. Can't wait.
From Ohio's best news team, this is Action 3 News.
Good evening, everyone.
It's a very lively, good opening. This is a pretty good news team, I feel, already. They kind of like holding your attention very well. High rating. I don't have a rating system for them yet. I'm kind of working on that, kind of kicking around some ideas, but they're doing pretty good. They're holding my attention.
Standing outside the Cleveland Board of Education building tonight, there has been a flurry of activity inside because there are so many parents this evening who are surprised and angered. Parents who had been told that their children were going to go to elementary schools in their own neighborhoods this fall, and now are learning that they are going to be bused across town. The Cleveland School Desegregation Information Board has been flooded with more than 1,500 calls from parents who want to know why the school board changed its plans. Two of those parents are Ann Pfeiffer and Laney Kramer, and they attended special meetings this past year. And what were you told then?
We were told that our kids would stay on this side, west side, 1st through 3rd grade. And that 4th through 6th, they would be bused. And that they would be going to Clark Elementary.
And Laney, now you find out you're going where?
They're going to, what's the name of
Joseph F. Landis on
Landis.
Hampton Avenue.
And you feel as though you were lied to?
Yeah, we were lied to. It's a betrayal. Because they told us one thing, and now we find out 2 weeks before school starts that we're going to a different place that we never even heard of.
School officials say that the changes...
No comment? Okay, so what's happening here is schools used to be segregated by race. It was decided in the 1960s, 50s, and 60s to end that. Good decision overall, I think. And there was a lot of kids being, bused over to neighborhoods that were not necessarily close to them in order to end this sort of a very unnatural segregation of schools by race. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about how anger about busing and stuff is kind of soft racism or what have you. This very, very interesting historical document here. Wherever you fall down on the issue, it's pretty interesting.
Were necessary because of that new court-approved desegregation plan, and also because 18 schools were closed because of declining enrollment or to fit in with the desegregation plan. Mona?
Well, it's not desegregation, but police protection that has members of the Near West Neighbors and Action Community Group angry tonight. Both Mayor Voinovich and Police Chief William...
I liked her transition there. It's not what you're talking about, but it's what I'm talking about that has a group angry tonight. That was... Yeah, they're stringing it together like a symphony. That's a good news broadcast, I think.
William Hatton agreed that more protection is needed for the near West Side area, but the pair told the group the city doesn't have enough money. The mayor and chief did promise to study the group's concerns and to do what they could in getting more police there. And on the east side tonight, concerned citizens too. Senior citizens are afraid that a government program might force them out of their homes. But Action 3's Tom Barris says they'll fight to stay here.
Pearl Morgan's lived in her Hawthorne Avenue home 50 years. The neighborhood's not what it used to be, though. There are vacant lots and lots of rundown houses. Still, Pearl likes it and wants to stay.
To me,
Damn, dog. Pearl Morgan had been there for 50 years. That means she was there from 1930 to 1980. That's like mind-blowing. She was there from like the Model T to the space shuttle. People make that comparison all the time. Whatever. Still, that's amazing to me. Here's Pearl Morgan. Let's see what she has to say.
it's home because I know everybody around here.
Tonight, more than 50 senior citizens confronted spokesmen for the Northeast Ohio Area-Wide Coordinating Agency saying just that. We like it here, we don't want to move. We want you to stop something called the Regional Housing Mobility Program, a program telling people about low-income housing in the suburbs. But these folks think it's a plot to force them out so developers can move in. They don't like it.
The black peoples of Cleveland, Ohio do not want their plans, what they got to do to move black peoples out into the suburbs. Go back and bring us a report, and then we will accept your proposals.
The men from Nowaka said they'll tell the federal government these people want to stay here, but these people want the mobility program stopped, period. Tom Barris, Action 3 News.
People in Painesville Township have been trying to force...
Damn, that's got to be some like gentrification thing. I'm not smart enough to watch this episode of the news. Like, this is crazy to watch. That's like all these people getting kicked out of their homes for some like quote unquote like low income HUD housing. Like, damn, that's crazy. This is all stuff like you read about in the history books, and you hear about like these big sweeping movements of like, oh yeah, cities were turned this way and they were gentrified, by all these, government actions. But this is like watching it in real time. This is an eventful episode of local news so far.
some dangerous occupants out of their community, and tonight they do have a promise that Exxon will be getting out 40 railroad cars filled with poisonous and flammable liquids within the next 2 weeks. They were set afire on Labor Day, and it took 12 hours to quell the flames then. And that is the danger now for the next 2 weeks. Not that they're going to explode, but that vandals might set them off. And so people in Paynesville Township and Fairport Harbor are guarding them very closely tonight and will be till they leave. Former Akron Judge James Barbuto is in jail in Columbus tonight in a surprising move. Barbuto...
So, as good as her transition was earlier, we're not talking about that thing. We're talking about this thing, and that's what has people upset. Yeah, that was a very bad transition. They were like, oh, they're going to take care of these toxic train cars. Former judge in jail. Like, holy smokes, man. Let me catch up mentally.
Turned himself in to begin serving his 1 to 10 years for gross sexual imposition, dereliction of duty, and intimidation of deputies. Barbuto is still appealing his sentence, but he felt that he could not find a job in the meantime, couldn't support himself, and so even though he is not admitting guilt, he has decided to go to jail and start getting it over with.
Akron firefighters tonight have decided to sue the city if it doesn't soon comply with an arbitrator's decision. Action 3's Kevin Coakley is live at a fire station on Broadway. And Kevin, we'll ask you, what's the feeling there tonight after this decision was made?
Well, Mona, there is relief, even jubilation at fire stations all across the city tonight. Firefighters this evening decided to go to court, unanimously decided to file suit if the city doesn't agree to an arbitrator's award, calling for either more pay or fewer hours. The timing of the court suit...
Okay, they're like too rapid fire, actually. Like, the judge was convicted of, like, gross sexual imposition. Like, could I get a little more context? I realized this was just, like, a random, like, local news day, but what did he do? What did he plead not guilty to? We just moved on. That he just pleaded nolo contendere, basically, and just decided to get his jail time over with. And now, let's move on to the firefighters. I like their set. They have a nice news desk. Nice background. Anyway.
Suit has been left up to negotiators to decide.
I think we're all together on this matter completely. We've all decided, I think, the best route to go is to court right now and force the city into following binding arbitration.
You think it's necessary to go to court now?
I know it is. Positive of it.
Negotiators feel the suit could be filed as early as next week if the city doesn't come through. But whether the suit is filed next week or the week after, a suit now looks inevitable. Kevin Coakley, Action 3 News, reporting live.
Kevin Coakley slamming the door there was very symbolic. He's like slamming the door on negotiations. It's a done deal. Kaboom. Nicely done. Mike Brady's less handsome older brother.
From the Akron Bureau's minicam at Akron's #1 firehouse. Mona?
Okay, Kevin, faced with this ultimatum, what do you think the city's going to do?
It's really hard to say.
Good question here. Okay, so are they really communicating? Or was his footage pre-recorded and then she put in questions to make it look like they were communicating like they would in like a movie? I honestly don't know. In 1980, I wonder. I wonder if he was just pre-fed her question and then she recorded that footage later and then they spliced it together.
They seem pretty inflexible, but we're going to have to wait till tomorrow, Mona, I think, to find out what their response is.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Of course, we're live every single night, 6 and 11 from the city of Akron. Some presidential campaigning in Akron early today. As Secretary of Transportation Neil Goldsmith in the Rubber City to open the new Carter campaign office there said the Democrats will have to work twice as hard this fall because both Reagan and Anderson are running against the president. Goldsmith also said that if Carter is elected, he will try to stop the flood of foreign goods into the United States, which have caused numerous layoffs in the Akron-Canton area. In Cleveland,
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy just how these things like change political parties back and forth. Like President Carter back then is like, oh, I'm gonna stop foreign, imports or whatever. Like that political position has changed parties 3 times since then. That's nuts.
Running mate of the Republican trying to keep Jimmy Carter from being reelected accused the president of taking the low road in the campaign by misstating Reagan's positions and suggesting that Reagan is a racist.
But neither is there just cause or reason for the charge of racism to be irresponsibly raised by a president of the United States in a national campaign. Mr. Carter's charge flies in the face of Governor Reagan's...
Mr. Carter, but Governor Reagan. Ooh. Did you guys catch that? It was Mr. Carter, but Reagan was Governor Reagan. It's not President Carter. The president's higher than a governor. I see what you did there, Georgie boy.
Challengers Reagan and Anderson.
And in world news tonight, Paraguay assassination has put an end to the life of former Nicaraguan dictator Somoza. A violent and bloody end when his body was riddled by machine gun bullets. A half-dozen men armed with bazookas and machine guns blasted Somoza's car in the capital city today, killing him and his driver. Vienna, the OPEC oil ministers have pretty much agreed not to...
I've never heard of Somoza. Apparently he really upset some guys. And they got after him with... AKs and bazookas. Well, you upset the wrong guys there, Somoza. Can I tell you?
Agree on several major issues, but at the end of the meeting today, Saudi Arabia agreed to raise its price only enough to affect American home heating oil and gas prices slightly. A Saudi minister said his country would keep on producing an extra 1 million gallons of crude a day in spite of the current glut. And in Washington, a good word for Billy Carter from National Security Advisor.
Yeah, that was a big thing right around then. 79, 80 was OPEC kind of, like unnaturally squeezing the United States because they knew the United States loves oil. They use a lot of it. They use it for all kinds of things, and the United States has a lot of money. So OPEC decided to try to squeeze them for as much money as they possibly could. And it's a big... There were a lot of reasons Jimmy Carter didn't get reelected, but that was a big part of it. Was OPEC doing what was right for them in their own business interests.
Brzezinski. He said today the president's brother's help in arranging a meeting with Libya might have saved the lives of the 52 hostages by showing the Iranian militants that not even the most radical Middle East nation supported their move.
This may be the best news of the night. The Cleveland Press may be sold within the month, perhaps as soon as 2 weeks. That is what press editor Herb Camm is saying tonight. The editor says that negotiations with newspaper unions are going very well, and he expects that the much-talked-about new owner, industrialist Joe Cole, would also add a new Sunday edition. Tonight's speech to the local chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists was the very first time that any timetable has been announced in connection with the proposed sale of the Cleveland Press, and I think that will come as good news to many of our friends.
Certainly will.
Stay with us, Al says.
I don't know why they're saying that it's good news that the paper will be sold to like an industrialist. I don't know if it was like failing or flagging or whatever. But he pointed out like very pointedly to his female co-anchor that it would come as good news that the biggest paper in their city being sold to this industrialist guy would make a lot of their quote-unquote friends happy. There's some context there I'm missing, but it was interesting nonetheless.
That you will suffer only until the weekend.
The Japanese, what's their secret to quality cars?
Ooh, their secret to quality cars. So excited.
While the new 1981 cars are just coming in,
they did cut the commercials. That's annoying.
Already developing even smaller models to try to challenge that Japanese lead. And Action 3's Ed Miller tonight is going to take us inside several Japanese auto plants to learn some of the lessons behind Japan's secret weapon.
Most Japanese auto plants almost hum with efficiency. They're clean, pleasant, and happy places to work.
One of the first things you notice inside a Japanese auto plant is the spirit of the workers. Part of it, of course, is a cultural difference, but there's no disputing the fact that each of these men approaches his job with a great deal of enthusiasm. And that's because management feels that each of these men is critically important to the success of each of these cars.
That's why almost all Japanese auto plants give workers the button. By pushing a button, any worker can stop the whole line if he sees a defect.
Are workers encouraged to stop the line if they see trouble?
Yes, of course.
Mitsubishi's company slogan of always chasing quality could almost be said about all of
Unlike in America, where if you see trouble, if you're just some worker and you're not the boss, you're supposed to shut up because you're not the boss. So you didn't find it as the boss. So you should shut up about it. Uh, I don't know. It's feeling a little weird and silly to me. Like I'm aware that there are cultural differences between Japan and America. Uh, I'm aware they have a very different worker culture that many would probably call a little toxic in this day and age. You know, they're a little they kind of obsess over being workaholics, I guess you would say. Uh, but at the same time, I think there's also like a weird impulse to like grant special secret powers, secret magical powers to the strange folks in the Far East. Sort of Orientalism. The book by Edward Said comes to mind. Uh, I don't know. They're encouraged to say something if they see something wrong in the assembly line. Like, yeah, I'm sure every assembly line worker on the fucking planet is encouraged to do that. Anyway.
Japan's industry. Quality is sort of a national goal.
By doing an excellent job, then he can secure his daily lives. That's why he likes the job.
What's the translator they found? Okay. Good job, buddy.
Who are these men who may be building your car and who may have stolen your job, whether it be in the steel, rubber, auto business, or any of the sister industries suffering so badly from...
Oh, dang. This is actually really relevant in Cleveland, because like this is very close to where like they would make cars, you know, Detroit, etc., kind of sort of that whole area. So like outsourcing was very, very relevant to this part of the country. I don't know necessarily by 1980, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that's they're magical hobbits who cast magical spells on the cars they're working on. That's why they're better at it than you American slob.
Of Japanese imports. In this case, his name is Katsu Komori, a college graduate, and yet he works on the line. He may move up if he wants to, but regardless of his job, even...
A college graduate, and yet he works on the line. Well, have I got a tale for you?
If he sweeps the floor, he does it with pride. He may play volleyball with his Q-Circle friends at the company gym, but when they talk, even off the job, they'll discuss how to do their work better, faster, and easier.
He banged the side of the car with the battery when he was putting it inside, right?
This car was put on display out...
So yeah, a lot of that stuff's kind of true. Like I know Japan does have like company like sports teams and stuff. Like they actually play American football, and they have company teams. So like IBM will play like Honda or some shit. That guy kind of looks like Japanese Super Mario. Has me curious about some things, but anyway.
Outside the Subaru plant, complete with diagrams to show workers how a mistake was made and how it can be avoided.
Is that one worker like macking on a lady? I didn't imagine that, right?
He was peeling back the rubber, and that's where the mark is. He scraped the paint, right?
You're wrong if you think Subaru put on this little act just for us. The Japanese are very fussy about their car's appearance. You seldom see scratches, dents, broken fenders, or rust on any of the cars in the streets. That's because all cars are frequently inspected for safety by the government, and junkers just don't pass. For the most part, it also takes longer for a Japanese car to turn into a junker. Even the top brass at General Motors admit the Japanese know how to fit the pieces together, especially trim, paint, and putting parts together so they just don't rattle. And it's done by dedicated men. You could call them kamikaze car makers, because their attack on our economy...
Excuse me? Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Uh, you could call them kamikaze car makers. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I guess it's kind of crazy to think about. Like Pearl Harbor was 39 years before this news broadcast, which 39 years before today was 1983, which is kind of a long time ago, but also not very long ago. So, I don't know. There's certain things we could probably forgive, but that's really, really funny. Uh, I don't know. I'm speechless. Um, yeah, and of course they talk about how Japanese cars go forever, which still true, by the way. You know, people have Toyotas and Hondas that go for 400,000 miles like regularly. That's not even like in dispute. I drive a Toyota myself. It only has 71,000 miles on it, coming up on 71,000. I'll put 1,000 miles on it in the next couple days, and I'm sure it will continue to hum like a kitten, or purr like a tiger. Whatever. I don't know. But anyway.
Has been nothing less than devastating. Ed Miller, Action 3 News, Japan.
Tomorrow in Japan's secret weapon, we'll look at what success in industry has meant for the Japanese lifestyle. You know, you were right, Al Roker, about that cold front. I mean, it is chilling out there. It's chilling in here.
Al Roker? What? What? What the fuck? That's Al Roker. Fuck yeah. That's so awesome. Well, I had some things to say about Japan's secret weapon. I think that this was meant as a how-to guide for you lazy fat American workers to be more like your Eastern brethren. Step your game up is the modern parlance. But more importantly, Al motherfucking Roker. Let's go.
You just keep it up and we're going to press the button.
That's his voice. That's him.
No, that doesn't work that way, because even if you stop my forecast...
How fucking old is he? What is he, 15 here? What the fuck? This is 1980. This is Al Roker. What? So happy.
The cool weather's still going to come, and it's going to be with us for at least another 24 hours.
That's him. He's not fat yet.
But with all this cool weather, what the hey? Let's talk about freezing weather, okay? When we're talking about freezes, these are the average freeze dates here in our area. For example, Cleveland, November 2nd. That's when you can expect the temperature to hit 32. Mansfield, October 6th. Painesville, November 4th. Sandusky, October 9th.
What happened,
nice stuff.
Al?
Well, let's take a look at what we...
How's the weather in Hamilton? How's the weather in Hamilton on July 31st, 1994? July 31st, 1994. Get it right. Hey.
We got today as far as our statistics. The high 67, our overnight low 53, air quality moderate. The early morning thunderstorms dumped 0.2 of an inch of rain. Right now, our temperature 56 degrees Fahrenheit. The barometer
Al fucking Roker, man, legend.
And the humidity at 76%.
What a
These
Chad.
are temperatures now around Ohio, and you can see where the clearing has started in the northwestern corner of the state, whereas everybody else has temperatures into the upper to mid-50s.
Why isn't Hamilton on that map, by the way?
4 degrees. Let's see if there's any precipitation in the area now. With AccuTrack, our color radar, from the National Weather Service, we have some ground clouds.
Okay, he's a little fat. He's not Al Roker fat.
Clouds will start to move out a little bit as this high pressure area starts to build its way into our region tonight. Now, we will see a gradual clearing. Along
Fucking
the lake,
Al
the
Roker.
temperature will only drop down to around 52 to 54 degrees. But away from the lake, when you get away from the warming influences of the lake waters, we'll only see temperatures drop down to about 48. So a little chilly tonight. Then tomorrow, as that high pressure drifts right over us, we'll see partly sunny skies. However,
Incredible
the
presentation,
warm front will
Al.
swing up this way, bringing in
Incredible
milder
fit.
weather. However,
Incredible
we will
helmet
see
of
some
hair.
Scattered showers tomorrow night. Tomorrow's temperature will only get its way up to about 67 degrees. Then we will see some sunshine.
Look at this tie clip.
Morning.
Can you see the tie clip in the shot?
Again, more showers, but not to worry.
God damn,
Another
what a legend.
high-pressure area will come to the rescue just in time for the weekend. Let's check our forecast now for northeastern Ohio. Tonight, cloudy skies, breezy and cool. Along the lake, 54. Away from the lake, 48. Tomorrow, cloudy and some sunshine. Then a few spotty showers developing, a high 67. Overnight low of 47. Our lake
Better ask your buddy Matt Lauer about some spotty showers.
Northeasterly winds 6 to 12 knots. Waves 2 to 4 feet. And here's the next 5 days. After the showers tomorrow, we'll have some showers in the evening on Friday, a high of 70. Then the weekend looks pretty good with partly sunny skies. Temperatures reaching up to 75. It'll cloud up by Monday again with a high of around 75.
Al, give me the weather in Hamilton.
Now, for the next 5 days, those fabulous 80s have gone bye-bye.
Spotty showers. I don't think I've ever seen.
You get those on your lapel sometime. You got to take them to the cleaner.
It is a quality report.
Next, we have 2 new brownies tonight that we want you to meet.
And we're proud
2
to
new
announce that
brownies.
They have the Boy of the Year.
The boy of the year. Young man, be proud. God, I'm so annoyed they cut the commercials out.
Brings pride to Massillon tonight. One of its own young men, 17-year-old Jay Smith, was so honored in Washington today by President Carter. Jace won out over about 1 million other Boys Club members from all over the country. After the ceremony in the Oval Office, Jace got a warm congratulatory handshake from Mr. Carter himself.
And
Wait,
Jace, we congratulate
who's
you
the
too.
17-year-old?
The Browns lost 42-0 preseason at Kansas City. This Sunday, we're favored by 4.
That's all?
That's
true.
all.
That's not bad. Hey, let's hope it's about 15. Anyway, the Indians tonight, we'll get to them in just a moment. The Browns.
Some solid inter-anchor banter with the sports fella. So, like, it's like a fine art, like the banter between the sports guy and, like, the real news anchors. Because, like, they're all like, oh, the sports, oh, it doesn't matter, whatever. Like they all, like, transition into, like, oh, we're going to banter with you. And, like, chit-chat. This is pretty good. You know, it's 7 out of 10, I'll give it.
We will, but first of all, the Indians nearly blew a 5-1 lead. They came back in the 11th inning tonight, beat Boston 6-5. Pinch hitter Gary Alexander's single was the key hit. The Indians took a 2-1 lead here in the 4th inning on a wild throw by Carlton Fisk. Then Alan Bannister lined this drive to left field. Jim Rice shied away from it. It went to the wall for a triple. Toby Harris scored 3-1. Miguel Delaney copped his 54th steal earlier. Drilled this pitch off the bag for a double that scored Bannister and Brohammer and made it 5-1. Looked like a lock as big Len Barker was mowing them down en route to what would be his 19th victory, we thought. But the Sox pushed 2 across in the 7th on Gary Hancock's double and this Glenn Huffman single to make it 5-3 Tribe. Then in the disastrous 9th inning, reliever Victor Cruz walked Hancock, and Dwight Evans here sent
Victor Cruz?
with this blueprint.
That Giants receiver that would do salsa dances from time to time?
Fenway Park home run into the screen, his 14th, that tied it at 5-all. But in the 11th, with 2 on, pinch hitter Gary Alexander lined a single over second baseman Chico Walker's head. Scored pinch runner Jerry Dubzinski for the 6-5 victory. How sweet it was. On the scoreboard now, the Yankees are trailing Toronto 5-3 as they play now in the 10th inning. That score just in. There's a rain delay there, so it's 5.
He said 5-3. The screen is showing 3-3. So that's a thing you'll see often in these old news broadcasts is the graphics do not reflect what the anchor is saying. I assume the graphics are wrong and the anchor is right, is usually my guess. They've gotten a lot better at that job in subsequent years. They were charmingly bad, the graphics people back in the day.
3 Toronto. Baltimore, on the other hand, defeated Baltimore 9-3 and are 5.5.
Okay, as I say that, he just said Baltimore, on the other hand, defeated Baltimore. Oh, yeah. Well, little misstep. It's okay. We still like you, sports guy.
Half back at the moment, could be 5 if the Yankees lose. Minnesota beat Milwaukee 3-2 in the first, no score in the second. The big news in Kansas City as the Royals knocked off California 5-0 to clinch the Western Division title. Dennis Leonard won his 19th, and George Brett is playing finally in the second game with California leading 4-1, and Oakland leading Texas 6-1 in the 7th inning. No report yet, Seattle and Chicago. National League, the Reds blanked Houston, fading Houston 7-0. Knight a grand slam, and Soto a 4-hitter. And New York defeated Montreal tonight 5-2 to cut their lead to a game and a half because the Phillies beat.
I miss the Montreal Expos so much. Please Please, Major League Baseball, bring back the Montreal Expos.
Beat Pittsburgh 5-4-11 on Del Unser's single. St. Louis beat Chicago this afternoon 8-5, and two important games, San Diego at LA and Atlanta at San Francisco. Well, the Kansas City Royals, as we mentioned, wrap up the American League Western Division title tonight, and here's a look at how they did it.
The Royals iced it by scoring twice in the fifth after a walk to Willie Aikens on a base hit by John Wathan. Frank White stroked this RBI single to make it a 4-0 contest. Pinch hitter Clint Hurdle then added a base hit. Wathan comes around to score, and the Royals are on top 5-0. Meanwhile, Leonard was breezing to his 19th victory of the season and his 12th win of the last 14 games. He struck out 9 and walked just 2. At one point, Dennis retired 16 straight Angels. This is the final out. Leonard on a 3-2 pitch cut down Jason Thompson swinging. Leonard has now defeated California 7 straight times. For the Royals, it's their 4th Western Division championship in the last 5 years.
Kansas City used to be really good. They had a really good run in the 2010s, I feel. Like a couple titles, at least one. It's awesome. I love seeing that in baseball when like a random small market club like gets really, really good. That's pretty fun.
Well, Major League owner opposition to the sale of the Chicago White Sox to Youngstown businessman Edward DeBartolo may be ending. DeBartolo went before league owners in Chicago today. He said he came away encouraged.
Eddie DeBartolo? Eddie goddamn DeBartolo? The owners of the 49ers? Holy shit. Wow. Oh, God. The fuck. Yeah, the Browns connection. That's... Okay. Yeah, I'm caught up. That's wild.
Earlier today, owners unanimously approved the sale of the Oakland A's to owners of a clothing firm who will keep the team in Oakland. Cleveland Browns, with the loss of Lawrence Johnson for at least a month, signed free agent veteran safety Autry Beeman, who was recently dropped by Seattle. Beeman is a 6-year veteran, and
I bet Autry Beeman right there is like 23 years old, which is fucking weird and awesome.
He'll obviously get a chance to play.
After that long trip, I'm kind of trying to make it through this practice, and I did make it. It's over now, and I've got a lot to learn. Got to learn a new system, and I got to learn it pretty fast, which I'll be able to handle.
Well, with the release of second-round draft pick Cleveland Crosby yesterday, the Browns signed Jerry Wilkinson, who will wear number 70.
Wait. Their second-round pick was named Cleveland Crosby? Of course they had to draft him. Come on.
He got work today. Wilkinson dropped by the Rams is 6'9", 260, and will get plenty of action.
At Oregon State, you know, we had to face a lot of adversity because we...
Oregon State, Corvallis, represent! I lived in Corvallis for like 5 months of my life. Probably less than that. It was nice. I liked Corvallis a lot. Yeah, it was a really, really nice town.
We had a poor record, and I'm not saying the Browns had a poor record.
Champion, National Golden Glove champion as a middleweight, and now he's going to start fighting as a pro, and he's going to start right here in Cleveland.
The 22-year-old East High School graduate just returned from Las Vegas, where he's been the primary sparring partner for Muhammad Ali.
Yes, it was a great incentive. It inspired me in many ways, as far as physically and mentally.
He's been boxing since he was 12 years old. Trainer Clint Martin has been with him from the beginning.
Did you see natural talent in him when you saw him at 12?
No, none of them. Some of them may show a little talent, but he didn't show anything. He just kept coming back, stayed in the gym.
Also helping out in Stoudemire's corner.
Hell yeah, got that Rocky story. Didn't show any talent, just wouldn't go away. I kind of love that. Jeff Stoudemire didn't look to me like he gave a single fuck about Muhammad Ali. Maybe that's wrong. I don't know. I don't know. But like he may have been young enough at that point that he hadn't really seen Muhammad Ali's like greatness, which was well past 1980. You know, like Muhammad Ali in 1980 should absolutely have stopped fighting. Like he took probably 10 too many fights in his career. Even in like WrestleMania 1 in 1985, like he looks like he's already like kind of like beyond it to where he would be later in life, you know, where the Parkinson's, I guess, probably took over. But yeah, the young Cleveland boxer Jeff Stoudemire was his name. Doesn't look like he really cares at all about Muhammad Ali, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But anyway.
Former heavyweight champion Jimmy Ellis. His pro debut comes tomorrow night at the Masonic Auditorium. There he'll take on Mike Sacchetti of West Virginia, who owns a 3-1 record. Scott Clark, Action 3 Sports.
It'll be an interesting story.
Yes, you stay with us, Joe, because Mona's going to tell you what pierced ears will do for your eyes.
Oh, really?
And Doug says there's no reason for your not winning the lottery number.
What pierced ears will do for Joe's eyes. I think that was a joke about Joe, who was a manly man, getting pierced ears. I think was the point there. Lotto numbers incoming.
In the Ohio Lottery tonight, the state cleared $296,000, and that was your key to winning, the 296, because the winning combination was
$296,000. Now they're like, oh, the lotto was $1 billion. That's awesome. But those, coincidentally, were the winning numbers that night. So there you go. The Matrix glitched, or sometimes numbers are the same as other numbers. Whatever.
629, all you had to do was box those numbers. It is so easy if you can just figure out the system.
Well, I've been working on figuring out something tonight to help you with your nearsighted eyes. Maybe yours too. If you don't mind wearing a little jewelry, pierced earrings, I mean. Pirates used to wear those gold earrings for more than decoration. You see, they believed that pierced ears would improve their eyesight. Modern acupuncturists note that the spot where most ears are pierced is the acupuncture point controlling the eyes.
Mona has the good transitions there. She has the good copy. I bet she had a lot of say in her own copy, because her transitions are just too good and everyone else's are not very good. Big shout out, Mona Scott. Hope you're doing well wherever you are.
Makes sense. We'll have to get you a pair of pierced
I
earrings.
could try those. I'd only have to wear them in the car because that's the only place I need the glasses.
Well, if you didn't wear your contact lenses here, and you just wear it in one ear, just your worst,
just one ear.
worst eye.
Get rid of these.
All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Al Roker's still there.
News Hawk 3 coverage is brought to you
Oh,
by the
man.
Marine Company and Ohio Edison, helping to keep you informed.
Well, awesome episode. I swear to God, right hand to God, on my mother's life, I did not know Al Roker showed up in this episode. That was a wonderful surprise. It was really good otherwise. I enjoyed the talents of Mona Scott mostly. You know, her transitions, like her copy was a little bit more, lyrical and, well written than that of the other anchors. Their banter with the sports anchor was pretty good. I was very disappointed that there were no commercials. And, that's a good lesson for me, that as I make these episodes, if I click on an episode and it's, 20 minutes long, 22 minutes long, probably cut out the ads, which is a huge bummer. But otherwise, yeah, it was very good. Didn't really care about the national news so much. That doesn't interest me at all in making these. But all in all, I was not sorry I watched this. And I hope you are not sorry you watched this video. And anyways, I'm going to get out of here. For the Reactor Core, I am the world-renowned historian. That was a Mona Scott-worthy transition. Good at this. Be good, kiddos. I'm out.